Hello and welcome to my video. Nope. Welcome to my video. Nope. Hello, how are ya? Welcome to my video. I'm here to... Nope. Hi, welcome to my video. My name's Farzad Misbahi and I worked for Tesla for 4 years. I stopped working there this September of 2021, about roughly 8 weeks ago since the date of this video. And yeah, I decided to sit down and sort of chronicle my experience at the company for the last 4 years and bring you guys up to speed on what my experience was like, pros and cons from my perspective of of Tesla and what they do and the things that they are working on a daily basis, and overall strategy and all that good stuff, and some detail behind some things. And just purely from my perspective, I'm sure Tesla employs 100,000 people in the world, and obviously everyone's going to have a slightly different sort of look into how Tesla executes things and what they do and everything. But I figured it'd be interesting for folks to sort of get some firsthand knowledge and experience from somebody who's been there for a little while. Now I can tell you that the thing that really sticks out to me from being there for 4 years is that it really feels like, man, it feels like 12 or 15 years, to be honest. And a lot of that is due to the sort of the speed and the way that Tesla likes to approach problems and solve things. So, but yeah, I figured I can sort of take this video and make it so that it's separated between pros and cons in a way, and then some overall, maybe some closing thoughts, maybe advice for people that are looking to join the company, and what to look out for and other things as well. And if you have any questions about my content, or if you'd like any additional detail on things, feel free to drop me a comment or a question in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions, or maybe if it requires a lot of detail, I might make them into their own videos or whatever. But yeah, this is just my first one, and I'm excited to sort of get you guys up to speed on what I sort of experienced. And yeah, let's get to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is a pro, in my opinion, obviously, and this is the freedom to solve problems your way. And so Tesla does a really good job at empowering their employees to go after solutions in the way that they think is the best way to accomplish them. And the reason why they do that is because Tesla is incredibly good at hiring great talent, and they do a really, really good job at empowering the folks in those positions. So my position, I started with the company as an analyst out of a distribution center in Pennsylvania, and the crazy thing that Tesla does there is that titles are very, they don't really define what you do. As with any really fast growing company, you're expected to wear many hats, meaning that you're really expected to go after a lot of different problems and using very varied skill sets to solve those problems. So even though my title was analyst at the position, I did things anywhere from developing dashboards, developing KPIs, data pulls, data mining, working with the management team, the leadership team, to implement processes in the warehouse for both outbound and inbound inventory control. There was a period of time at the warehouse where I managed the facility for a few months while the general manager was out on leave. And I picked, I packed, I received, I put away. And really it's, what it comes down to is that Tesla really expects everyone to come together and solve the problems together. So there isn't really a big separation between roles at some levels, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But even in those situations, in those positions, what Tesla does is that and the leadership team does is like, hey, we need to solve this problem. Like, hey, the one thing we had was we had to essentially like double or triple our throughput at the warehouse in a matter of weeks. And then the team says, okay, get to it, right? And so everybody comes together, we brainstorm, we figure out the best ways to get that throughput implemented. We whiteboard testing, recording how it went, the failures, the successes, and then iterate over and over again. And the really cool thing there is that we each kind of have the ability to problem solve in our strengths, right? So where personally, I might be good at solving things from a data perspective, utilizing data to really get to the truth of what's going on. We had so much talent in that building that was extremely good at being really creative about utilizing the tools that were in front of them, right? So sometimes you don't have everything you need when it comes to solving a problem, but given that there's so much talent in that building, it becomes relatively a guaranteed thing where we will eventually figure it out and put the solution in place with very little guidance from management on how to actually do it. So that's super cool, and I view that as a pro. That's the first one. The second one that I perceive as a pro is you are surrounded by ridiculously talented people everywhere, okay? Again, so kind of pull it from my own experience. As an analyst by title at the facility when I started, we had a group of material handlers, roughly, I want to say probably like 30 or 40 of them when I first started, up to 80 plus by the time I left. And material handlers at the warehouse are expected to pull product, ship product, receive product, so on and so forth. But there was a large percentage of the time, especially at the start of that building, where they were very close to the development process of the processes of that building. And that's purely because they're smart as hell. We have really smart people and we don't want to sideline them, right? I don't know if that is 100% the case at every single facility in Tesla across the globe, but it is a common theme from my experience. So when I travel to other buildings or I travel to parts of the manufacturing facility in Fremont and other parts of the business, logistics and other things like that, you have a lot of smart people everywhere. And they, it's very invigorating because they really do really have that same passion for Tesla that a lot of fans do, so when I worked at Tesla and I sort of saw the outside perspective of, fans, it's very, it was super empowering, it made me feel really good that I was working for a company that so many people loved. And the talent in the building, a large percentage of them feel the same exact way. They really are passionate about the mission. They're trying to get after it. And it's great that there's so much smarts in the building. You can really problem solve basically anything. So that's another huge pro. And obviously from a developmental standpoint, you get to learn so much from them. And yeah, I couldn't say more about how smart people are in that facility. I felt dumb every day, every freaking day. And that's good in a way, because that means you're learning, right? You're going through things that that you're not used to, and then you get to learn from other people. And in my opinion, that's an amazing thing. So that's the second thing that I view as a pro. The third thing is healthcare and stock options that the company gives their folks, I think are amazing. So it really hit me once I left, is like, man, healthcare is freaking expensive. I paid for myself and my wife for our healthcare. We don't have any kids, but I think, man, it was like a few bucks a paycheck that was withdrawn, and the coverage was amazing. We got really good healthcare coverage. It's so much so that you don't even really think about it. It's a great perk that I don't think it's talked about much when it comes to Tesla and its employees. The healthcare package is pretty freaking good, and it's super affordable, and it covers a lot. In addition to that, the stock options that you get as an employee are also not only generous, but with the growth potential of Tesla, especially now, you could make an argument that it's more valuable than, gold or some sort of other asset that you might think, just because of how much it's been depreciating. So, and there's two ways that Tesla gives you compensation through stock. It's either through a grant or a signing bonus, or some sort of signing contract that you have with the company when you first join them. So they give you, X number of stocks, RSUs, restricted stock units, or options. that you can use to exercise to essentially get paid in those units. Or you can take advantage of the employee stock purchase program, which Tesla offers to all their employees, where you get 15% off the lowest price at the beginning or end of the period. And that it's a 6-month period, starts in February, I think, and it ends in September, I believe, which is really, really cool. And I do think almost everybody at that company that I know of really took advantage of that. And it's almost like a guaranteed 15% return if you really think about it. If you sell right away and the stock doesn't do something insane in the couple of days that it takes for those shares to be dispersed. So it's a pretty nice perk for those that can afford it. Obviously, not everybody can, and hopefully as a company continues to grow, more and more people will be able to do that. But there was a significant portion of the workforce that was able to take advantage of that, and that was super, super sick. So very, very cool. I don't know how much it gets talked about, but that to me was a big pro, especially the healthcare part. Now that I'm not a Tesla anymore after 4 years. It's a big thing, and people should know about that. All right, the fourth one, pro. Tesla is extremely respected, and that was a very cool thing that I experienced out in the wild, when I went out to lunch and I had my Tesla badge on the side of my pants. Can't tell you how many times people would approach me like, "Oh my God, you work for Tesla? Whoa, that's so cool. Have you ever met Elon?" That's like the question I always got. Did you meet Elon? The other one was, "Oh my God, you drive a Tesla. Did you get it for free? Was that something that you got for free?" No, I had to pay full price just like everybody else. And no, I did not meet Elon in person. Couple emails, I shot him a couple of emails with some sort of feedback that I had, and magically enough, he responded to the couple of them. And so it's great to know that somebody even as big as Elon still takes the time to read emails from his employees and answers them with the proper context. And it's clear that he's giving time to those things. So that was super cool. But no, I never met him in person. But when it comes to the extreme respect, it just feels good, man. And like you go out to the wild and people ask, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I work for Tesla." "Oh my God, you work for Tesla? Holy shit. I love Elon Musk, and the car is so cool, blah, blah, blah." Makes you feel really good about what you're doing, right? It makes you feel like the time you're investing in this company and all the hard work you're putting in is for something that people really, really appreciate. And that means a lot. That means a lot. It gets people really excited. I think it got me really excited, especially on those days where, it's a lot of complications at work, or, we're going through a tough time, or, back in 2018 and beginning of 2019 when everybody was losing their mind that Tesla's going to go bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. It helped to kind of get that recognition from everybody. And it feels really good. It feels really good. And I think that's a perk for Tesla, is that people will recognize that it's a great company, and you'll get the props for it, and it's makes me feel good. I know it makes other people feel good. They wear the Tesla swag with honor and pride, and you can see that, and that's a great thing. And the fifth thing that really stands out to me from a broad level is that you feel accomplished every single day. The work means something every time you're in there, and it really is a very special thing. It's a very, very special thing. And no 2 days are really the same. And you get to go in there and problem solve and really clear up bottlenecks that you're experiencing, knowing that once you do that, someone on the other side is going to feel it and they're going to be very happy. So for us in distribution, we have a part shortage, or we have a backlog that we have to get through because of a lot of orders, or during the COVID pandemic we had a lot of different issues with staffing, and knowing that you're going in there to solve a problem, and that 10 more people are going to get their cars earlier than they thought, that feels amazing. And especially knowing how passionate Tesla owners are and how great they are at passing on the message to other people and saying, "Hey, this is a great car, great company, you should buy a Tesla." That means a lot. That is super, super cool. And it feels great. And every day feels like that. You go in, you make an impact, you go home, and then you do that again day in and day out. And that just feels amazing. It feels amazing as an employee. I think it's great when a company can do that, where they have such a great mission and such a great product that they'll be able to instill that sort of feeling into their employees, especially through their customer base. And yeah, it's a great thing, and yeah, definitely something that I wanted to highlight. Now I kind of want to get into the 5, you can name them cons, but sort of 5 things that I think Tesla can improve on. I don't think any of these are secrets or anything that is really damning. You know, every company has weaknesses. It's impossible to have a company that is perfect across the board. And from my experience, obviously, I think just to be balanced, I really want to share those as well. Nothing in here that I'm going to be sharing that is in any sort of way proprietary information or anything that is going to harm the company in any way. Just observations from somebody that I think, you know, people would like to know. And yeah, so let's get into those. So the first one is that because of the speed of the company, there is lack of guardrails in a lot of places, and that can cause things to break, right? So one of the positives of going really, really fast is that you innovate really quickly, you get stuff out there super fast. You know, you can make a lot of changes really quickly. You can impact the marketplace much faster. Compare the things that Tesla is doing versus the other automakers. My God, they're so far above and beyond everything, and that's because of that speed. But one of the side effects of that speed is that to be that fast, you need to remove obstacles and you need to remove safeguards that say, oh my God, well, are you sure you want to go that fast? Oh my God, are you sure you want to go there? They don't exist. You just, okay, yeah, let's go. Oh, that's the thing we're going to do? All right, we're going to go do that, right? So, a lot of different examples of this that I can go into. Some of the things I don't want to get into too much because it does sort of delve into some of the details of the company, and I don't know if I want to feel comfortable at this second sort of sharing that information. Look at my hair, it's getting a little crazy. But, you know, there's different places where you make a change a little too fast. You don't think about all the different downstream effects or how it impacts the different folks in the process, and then you end up slowing down. And I'll use an example for that I went through. You know, there were a lot of different expectations we had around solving our throughput, right? Double, triple, quadruple, fast. You need to get more product out the door as quickly as possible. Great. So, you know, at some point you're trying everything you can, and you're essentially, you know, flying by the seat of your pants. And so what happens is you'll implement a thing that instead of making it go twice as fast, it makes it go half as fast. Whoops. And then you spend the next 24 hours to 48 hours fixing that problem, right? Which in turn ends up having a diminishing effect instead of an improvement, right? And that happened quite often, especially earlier on while I was at the company. It has significantly decreased over time, especially as it pertains to our org specifically on the operations side. But yeah, that's something that I saw very often, is that the speed definitely also gave you a lack of guardrails, and so you always have to be ready to fix a thing you'll break, you know. And in a way that's exciting because it does sort of give you a very startup feel. You feel very I don't know, very energized to get after it, right? And to like, oh my God, I have so much freedom to try stuff, and I'm not gonna get fired if it's broken. Oh my God, that's great. Now, I don't know if that's the case everywhere. I mean, imagine on the factory line, you can't be making those sorts of mistakes, you know, often, because you can't have the line down for more than, you know, a few minutes. I mean, you never want the line down ever. But God forbid you make a change that causes the line to go down for any period of time. That's a problem, right? Because that's really the mechanism that Tesla has that makes some money. So if you mess that up, good luck, right? So, but from our standpoint, from my standpoint at least, I saw that quite a bit, and it got better over time, but something that I definitely wanted to highlight from my end. The second one is, as modern as Elon likes to run the company, there's still places in the company, from my perspective, that politics still exists. So meaning, like, you know, you'll have decisions that are made that are not necessarily made in the best interest of the company. They're made in the best interest of someone's advancement in their career, so on and so forth. And obviously, I'm not going to get into detail into who these people are or whatever, but I did see it from time to time. I think it's a very human thing, to be honest. It's hard for people to be unbiased when it comes to doing the right thing for the company, especially if a lot of your personal growth is attached to that. So I can understand how that can happen, but it doesn't line up with the ethos of the company, which is, you know, do everything you can to advance the company forward, you know, try to be as selfless as possible, try to move everything forward. But when you have a company of 100,000 people, human beings who are, you know, Their default mode usually is to look after themselves. You're gonna fight some politics here and there. Now, I've had exposure to other companies where the politics run everything. So everything's about personal development. And fortunately, that hasn't been any of my experience. You know, the companies that I work for have been sort of far away from that, but I've had exposure to other places where that's very obvious, either through friends that tell stories or through, you know, being connected to other companies, to the companies I worked for. It was clear that politics ran the day, and that's a shame. That's a bummer. But yeah, as good as Tesla is at what they do, they're not immune to human nature. And just another thing I wanted to highlight for you guys so you guys were aware of it. The third thing is that some areas of the company are way less sophisticated than you would think, right? So what I mean by that is Tesla, really their bread and butter is making money, making profit through their manufacturing process, right? That's what brings in the money for the company. It's selling cars at this present day. Future will be, you know, your solar, your batteries, full self-driving, the bot, Cybertruck, you know, blah, blah, blah. Just down the line, who God knows what else they're going to come out with, right? But right now, and for the last 4 years I was there, it was manufacturing. So a lot of the sophistication was in those processes, right? You have all the attention of the company really around, okay, how do we maximize our ability to get these suckers out the door so that we can grow the company as fast as possible and get our world transition to sustainable transport and energy consumption as fast as humanly possible, right? So a lot of that bandwidth and mental capacities built into that part of the business. From my side, on the service side, a lot of that sophistication wasn't there, especially early on, right? So systems, processes, tools, robotics, whatever you want to call it, right? Especially earlier on, we had basically an analogy I like to use is we were given sticks and stones and we were asked to build a spaceship, right? Like here's 4 pieces of wood and here's 2 pieces of rock. Can you get 10,000 parts out the door tomorrow? Okay, well, no. No, I can't, but I'll definitely try my best to, you know, work with the team to make that happen, right? And yeah, so I get a little bit of like anxiety just thinking about it, but that sophistication is definitely around manufacturing from my perspective, right? It has gotten better, especially towards the tail end of my career at Tesla. They made a lot more changes when it came to systems, and there's brilliant teams working on that side of the company, and a lot of them are sort of, I consider friends of mine, and they are doing such a great job. But it's rightly so, Tesla has focused a lot of their energy on the manufacturing side. And I think as they grow and they get more mature, a lot of the different parts of the business will get a little bit more attention when it comes to that sophistication. But yeah, it's something that I definitely wanted to highlight. You know, if somebody's joining Tesla, you know, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be working in a place where the processes or the job is going to be as advanced as the car, right? The car is crazy advanced versus everything else. But more likely than not, you're going to be working at a place where they're going to count on you to make them sophisticated, right? That sophistication is not going to exist necessarily from the get-go. And that's okay. That's what happens when you're growing, you know, 1,000,000 miles an hour and you need help. And that's why Tesla hires the best, is that's so we, you know, everyone there can go in and make it happen. So just something I wanted to highlight. And, you know, I mean, you can consider it a con, maybe not in this case, but it's just something that I definitely want to make you guys aware of. The fourth one is related to the first point, you know, the speed of change. So when stuff breaks, get ready to work long and hard, all right? A lot of expectations are set on the teams to move quickly and to make changes, right? So like, hey man, you gotta put this in place tomorrow. Go, go, go. Stuff will break. Humans are not perfect. We're not good at being perfect, right? That's like freaking impossible. Like, you know, Elon might be the closest one, but he still makes mistakes left and right, right? I mean, he's not perfect. He himself has admitted that many times, right? So when a ship breaks, better get to it, man. You better be ready to sacrifice some time and some mental power to get it done. And what was hilarious is that a lot of these things that broke usually would happen towards the tail end of a shift, or, you know, the time you're spending there. So you're already working very intensely for, you know, call it 8-10 hours. And then the last 2-4 hours of the day are spent with you trying to problem solve something dire that has broken when your brain is already melted, right? So it's like you almost need a second brain somewhere, like back here, that says, oh my God, okay, now the rest of my brain's melted. How do I solve this problem, right? So that was very painful. And yeah, so look out. If you're somebody that's joined the company, and just be mindful of that. You know, definitely be mindful of that, and yeah, be ready to put in the effort, because you will need to put it in. You will need to put in that effort to fix stuff. It's not just gonna get fixed, because they're counting on you to implement those things. And if you mess up, you better not be running around, you know, trying to say it was someone else's fault or something. You better get down there and fix it. You better get your hands dirty. And I think Tesla does a really good job at instilling that sort of culture. You know, you own it, get after it. It's yours, right? All right, and then the last one, as a con from my perspective, is that, and this one's kind of a counterintuitive thought, but something that I saw happen quite a bit. Sometimes folks are a little too smart to realize that they're making a huge mistake, okay? And that's partly inexperience, that's partly politics sometimes, to be honest, but you know, it's no secret, again, that Tesla hires the greatest and best, right? But the greatest and best still make poor decisions, right? They're not perfect every time. And that confidence and that sort of track record of either being told that they're very smart or very good can give you a false sense of accuracy, or a false sense of that you know what you're doing in that specific place, right? I'm guilty of this. I made this mistake plenty of times at Tesla, where I didn't receive the feedback that I didn't absorb the feedback the right way from folks, you know, or I didn't give it the time that it really deserved. And I made a decision, I moved forward, and then I ended up impacting, you know, people's lives, you know, like there's times where I implemented a outbound process that ended up causing a slowdown of the process, and it caused people to work extra hours that day, and they have to cancel plans because of a decision I made. That makes me feel like shit, you know, and after that, I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm sorry, I went in, apologized, tried to fix the problem with their help, if hopefully they want to help me. And of course, you know, you work with the nicest people on earth, you really do, and they're always willing to help, but people will make mistakes. People will make mistakes, and sometimes they'll make it in a way that it's pretty impactful, and then you have to spend a lot of time going in and sort of bringing that back. And again, it's the double-edged sword of having the best talent in the world. They're going to make mistakes as well. Nobody's perfect. And sometimes the smartest people make the biggest mistakes, right? Because they own so much, and they have so much responsibility, you know, that they're just bound to impact more. And it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Fortunately, again, Tesla is surrounded by the most talented people in the world, in my opinion, and those people will go in and help fix it, and that's that. So yeah, that's the last con that I wanted to bring forward. Now there's a few things that I wanted to highlight as well that are more sort of, I guess, neutral, like things that are neither pros and cons but observations from my end that I think are important to sort of bring forward. And some of them I may have touched on a little bit before, but I figured I'd, you know, reiterate it. But starting with super fast paced, so freaking fast, okay? There was a time at the warehouse that I worked at where we implemented, my God, 5 outbound processes in the span, like 5 reiterations of the same process that were very vastly different in a span of like 3 months, okay? And just to give context to those that have never worked in a distribution sort of setting before, these processes are, you know, they involve machinery, they involve a lot of like tooling, it involves surfaces that you have to rejigger, it involves movement of product around the warehouse, right? It involves how you position people in the warehouse, how you move people around, how you time product going from the shelf to the outbound floor to the docks, logistics, you have to sync it up with your trucks being there. Your inbound, you got to make sure your product's coming in. Inventory control, you got to make sure everything's accurate at the bin and in the right location, so you optimize the speed, right? And my God, we did 5 different versions of an outbound process in a couple months, and that's just, you know, I've been in warehouses where they don't change, you know, a process for months. They wait for like 3 months for the data to come in. They're like, oh yeah, it's not working. Well, no, shit's not working. I could have told you that the second day when we went live, right? So yeah, that's a big one, and one that's very obvious, I think, for everybody that follows Tesla. So fast, so fast. Which also makes it super fun if that's what you're into, if you love that speed. But if you don't, look out, because you will be, the stampede's coming and you better get out of the way or join it, because boy, we're gonna go. So that's one. Another one is the wins aren't celebrated too often, right? So and again, this is not a pro or con, it's just an observation. So Tesla's very good at giving you feedback. Right? So if you do something wrong or you mess something up or somebody thinks you can do something better, they'll just come out and say it, right? They'll be like, hey, you know, this process sucks. I think it will be better if you do it like this. Okay, thanks for the feedback. Appreciate that. I'll see if I can do it, or if, you know, I'll do my own diligence and sort of sync up with you and let you know if that works, right? And it's usually focused, not usually, but it's mostly focused around when something's not going right? So it's like, you hear stuff if something's going wrong, but you don't really hear stuff if something going right? But that's okay. You know, I think initially for me, that was a big adjustment, because from where I come from, wins were celebrated quite a bit, and, you know, we were given credit and all that stuff, which, you know, it's fine. But when you're thinking about the goal of Tesla, which is to just constantly improve, feelings kind of come secondary in that environment, right? And it's neither good or bad, in my opinion. Yeah, human beings like to be, you know, told that they're doing a good job. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But just expect, you know, if you do plan on working there, expect to sort of check your ego at the door, right? And come in with an open mind that says, I'm willing to take everything that's given to me. I'm going to use that information as best as I can to do good for the company and the world. And I'm going to try my best to not let my feelings get in the way. Okay. So that's another one that really jumped out to me. Another one is, you know, I think I touched on it a little bit, but no 2 days are alike. Each day is its own beast. My God, it's its own beast, man. Like every time you go into it, you know, you sort of open your Outlook, your email, with a little bit of anxiety and like, okay, what am I going to deal with today, right? And the severity of those, like, sort of like, you know, at the beginning it was like all over the place. You know, it was up and down like crazy. Whereas later in my career, like towards the tail end of that 4th year, those sort of gyrations sort of come down a little bit and they become a little bit more stable, but you're still dealing with different dynamics each day, which makes it super fun, right? No 2 days are alike. And Tesla does a really good job at plugging you into places where you can make an impact, right? So if you want to go like work on something else that you think is going to do a good job, you just, you know, either talk to your boss or get a group together and say, hey, should we go after this? You know, do you guys have time to go after this? And if we do, we put the time together. We say, you know, our leadership, hey, you know, we think there's an opportunity here. Cool if we get after it? Yeah, sure. You know, see if we can make it work. You know, as long as there's nothing super insanely crucial that needs to get solved at that second, leadership tends to be very supportive about just making things better, period. And that sort of adds to that, you know, that's the foundation of why no 2 days are alike. The next one I want to get into is observation. So Elon's culture is present everywhere, right? And I'm sure you kind of gathered this from the different things that I covered already. He carries himself in a very certain way in social media, you know, interviews and everything like that, where it's always about finding the problem, find the best solution to the problem that you can in the shortest amount of time possible with as little obstacles as you can. And if you can take stuff out, right? So remove processes, remove products, remove whatever you can, parts, to try and get to the thing you can as quickly as possible and efficiently as possible. That's present everywhere. And everybody at the very least, tries their hardest to think that way. Not always the case. Obviously, you're going to always have a subset of the workforce, especially when you have 100,000 people that they're just not fit for that sort of mentality or way of approaching problems. But the culture exists. The culture very much exists, especially in manufacturing, but also definitely in service, at least in distribution from where I came from. And that's really cool because that's a really big company. You know, if you really think about it, Tesla has become a very large company, $1 trillion company market cap. And 100,000 employees worldwide. God knows how many facilities they have now in the world. And that culture exists, and it's super cool. It's super cool, and it's a big sense of like camaraderie. Everybody's in it together, and the culture is very, very strong. It's a very strong culture. Now there are parts of it that are, some can say are difficult to handle because of the expectations that are put on you to solve problems. But those that really do enjoy that will thrive in that company, in my opinion. They'll do really, really well. And then the last one, which again may have been sort of part of the conversation, not directly, but I'm sure you probably got that idea, is that you have to be prepared to wear many hats. So you have to be prepared to go in and problem solve a lot of different issues using a lot of different skill sets. In my position towards the end of my career at Tesla, I was a program manager, which is essentially, it's a hybrid between a project manager and somebody that goes in and problem solves with the teams. And I had a team of analysts that also helped me put numbers together, dashboards together, and they also worked on their own projects individually with their facilities. And they're such a shout out to my team. You guys, oh my God, I love you guys, seriously, incredible. If you guys watch this video, love you guys so much. But yeah, they're even them, everybody has to wear many hats, right? And it doesn't really matter what you're working on. Tesla just trusts your talent. They trust that you can go in and make shit happen, okay? That you're gonna sync up with the right teams and you're just gonna get after it and solve the problems. If you're somebody who's more about this is what my resume says, and here are the things that I'm responsible for, it's not really my job. I'm telling you right now, do not work for Tesla, because you will freaking hate it. You will hate it. The second day you're there, they're gonna be like, can you do this thing that has nothing to do with your job? It will happen. It will happen. So if you're somebody who just likes to be, and again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People are people, right? You guys, anybody can do whatever they want, right? You guys are more than free to, you know what you like, get after it the way you like, right? But if you're somebody who likes to only work on the things that you expect to work on based on a description, yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But I think on the counter side to that, that's what gives people the ability to grow at that company so much, right? You can go in and you're exposed to so many different things, so many different facets of the company. And what ends up happening is that you realize that you have skill sets that you never thought you had, right? So you go in with a sort of a mentality of I'm just going to work on whatever I can. And once you get into it, like, holy crap, I really enjoy doing this. I never knew I would enjoy, like for me, my entire background before Tesla, I was a director of business intelligence and pricing. So team of analysts behind the computer, back office, numbers. That's all we did. Numbers, spreadsheets, dashboards, that's it, right? I go to Tesla and I'm at the warehouse, and the boss, Greg, who has become one of my closest friends, love you too, buddy, says, okay, we need to fix this outbound floor. I'm like, okay, I never in a million years been exposed to an outbound process at a warehouse, but I really want to help because I really find the mission of Tesla important, and you seem like a really cool guy and I trust you, so let's go. And I learned how to build outbound processes. I learned how to put in a pick process, a pack process, a shipping process. One of the things that I'm so proud of, I think it was like a few weeks in, we were trying to diagnose an outbound process where it was taking forever to get product from the floor to the truck. And then I made a recommendation for changing the flow of how the product was being dropped off to complete a store so that we can get it out the door. And that like doubled our throughput the next day. I'm like, oh my God, that feels amazing. I'm addicted. All right, I want to fix more of this stuff now. I would have never known that I would enjoy that unless I was given that opportunity, right? And that's what giving you many hats to wear does. It gives you the opportunity to learn. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing in my opinion. I'm sure there are others that don't want exposure to that, which is completely fine again. But for me, love that. Honestly, probably my favorite thing about that job, wearing the many hats. What I want to get into now is like, you know, if you're somebody who wants to join Tesla or is interested in joining Tesla, what are some of the things to, you know, look out for, tips that I may have so that it can, you know, hopefully help your interview process or help your onboarding process if you are joining Tesla. And this is from my opinion, you know, from my perspective, it could change depending on the different departments that you're going to. You know, primarily I was exposed to supply chain distribution. That's sort of my expertise, but I think from a cultural perspective, it does apply to Tesla holistically. So, and I think I touched on this already in the video, but check your ego at the door. Do not go in with an ego. Try your hardest to not have an ego. What I mean by that is, I don't know how to describe it. Just don't have an ego. Just go in with an open mind, right? Go in with an open mind. Go in trying your best. You know, tell yourself that, hey, if people are criticizing my work, they're not doing so because I'm gonna get fired or they don't like me. It's because they honestly want you to do better and they wanna make you better, right? That's a hard thing to swallow a lot of the times because people don't like being told that, hey, I'm doing something wrong, right? That's a very human emotion. It's like, man, I feel like I'm failing, right? I'm telling you, people are so good at giving feedback at that company. And if you welcome it and you take it for what it is, which is just constructive criticism, you're gonna do much, much better, not just at Tesla, but for your entire career and probably your life as well. Because there's a lot of lessons that you can take from Tesla that you can apply to the real world. You know, there's many that I think I took. Maybe I'll make it into another video, but there's many that I think I took for myself that I've been able to apply in many different places. And yeah, check your ego at the door, get in there with an open mind and just be ready to work. Be ready to work, be ready to work with others and be ready to take that constructive criticism so that you can get better and better and better and better, okay? The other one is be honest, right? So playing politics at Tesla will eventually get you out the door. And you know, even though it exists, I haven't seen many people survive at that company that play politics, you know, that play it so that they're with dishonesty or like they're not, you know, they're holding something in that they should be saying because, you know, we're going the wrong direction. Be honest. Right? Tesla hired you is hiring you or is interviewing you for a reason because they think you have the capability that they're looking for, right? Honesty is one of the biggest ones that I could find when it comes to some of those things that they're looking for. So it doesn't matter if doesn't matter who's in the room, right? I don't even think if Elon was in the room, he would take anything wrong, you know, by somebody saying, you know, hey, like I think we're going the wrong direction here. Never worked with the guy directly. If somebody has, let me know. But at least from where I came from the organizations that I was a part of, honesty was huge. It was huge. And you were expected to be honest all the time. Because it benefited the company. And you're trusted to be give that honesty so that we can get better, right? So keep that in mind as you think about joining Tesla or as you've joined Tesla. Just keep that in the back of your head. It's very, very important. And then last one, which I think is one that I was very bad at the beginning, but I became much better at the end. Don't feel bad about taking time off, okay? Tesla is grueling and it can be very, very, very difficult on the mind, right? And the body, honestly. Like at the warehouse, we've worked with material handlers, love them to death. So some of the nicest people I've ever met, hardest working people I've ever met by far, busting their asses 12, 14 hours a day, moving product, packing shipments, picking up boxes, huge toll on their body. And sometimes, man, your body just breaks, man. You need time, you know, and no different for the mind. You know, a lot of the jobs that I did at Tesla involve the mind. You know, it's a lot of problem solving, creating processes, analyzing, coding, right? A lot of different things that involve mind work. And early on, I felt guilty about taking time off. Oh my God, like there's so many people working so hard at Tesla. I can't take time off. Look at them, like they're going crazy. And yeah, there were some situations where maybe you can't, right? Because there's just a huge objective you're trying to reach that is going to prevent the company from collapsing, right? You know, the duct tape's coming apart and you got to, you know, help put it back together. But there are times where, you know, there are people around you that will pick up your slack, and they will come in and fill in for your gap, right? So take the time. It will help you so much. You know, it's an investment in your future productivity, you know, and different people have different limits. So for me, you know, I can probably go, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't really think about this before, but I can probably go 4 or 5 months without taking a break, you know, at Tesla. And, you know, earlier on, maybe a little bit less because of how intense it was, but just for my mental well-being, you know, it's good to go extended periods of time, or it's good to go on an extended period of time away from the job so you can sort of get your mind together to where it needs to be, get your body back to where it needs to be, and get in there when you come back and be twice as productive as you were when you left, right? To go on break. It's an investment in your well-being. So don't let the folks around you that are working just as hard as you are make you feel bad for taking the time. It's very, very important. And I highly encourage, and not just Tesla, to be honest, this is probably advice for everybody. Take time off, just do it, you know. Know your limits at the very least, right? There are people out there that can go years without taking time off. When's the last time Elon has taken a break? I don't even know if he takes breaks, right? His breaks are probably doing a different type of work. I don't know, it might be Boring Company or Starship. I have no idea. I don't know the guy, right? But be honest about what your limits are. And it's very likely that time off will help you, not hurt you. And if you feel like it's somehow going to hurt your perception from other people, try to think about why that would be, right? See if it's a legitimate concern or if it's just like you just feel bad, right? And if you just feel bad, then ask yourself the question of, okay, so who should I really think about in this situation, myself or others, right? Maybe do a test. Maybe take 3 days off. You know, when you feel like you shouldn't take 3 days off, like, you know, I'm just going to do it anyway. You know, take 3 days off. Take 3 days off and see what happens. You know, are people going to be like, oh my God, he took 3 days off. Oh, what a bad person. He's terrible, right? What a bad person. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if anything, people are going to be like, wow, okay, we can take time off. We should take some time off. We should go rest, right? It's not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a good thing. So just keep that in mind, but do know your own limits. You know, some people can go, again, like a year without taking a break. Some people need to go on a break every 3 months. I don't know what the right number is. Different people are different, but do give yourself that honesty, right? Okay, so to summarize, well, first, thank you for making it this long. I was not expecting this video to be this long, but I really, you know, once I feel like I got into it, I just, there's so much in there. There's so much in there that I've didn't even think was in there, but 4 years of Tesla is, my God, there's a lot there. So to summarize Tesla, how would I summarize Tesla? It's an entrepreneur's sandbox, okay? If you're somebody who likes to problem solve, if you're somebody who likes to come up with solutions, if you're somebody that really likes to go in there and make an impact, and if you're somebody who considers themselves an entrepreneur, like somebody that really wants to get in there and feel like you've made a big impact, right? Not to just the company, but to society. Tesla is, from my experience, amazing. The best, okay? I had the great sort of luxury and fortune to start a business with my wife back when we lived in Pennsylvania for 4 years. And running a small business reminds me so much of working at Tesla, because you have so many different things that you can control and things that you can impact and influence and things that you have to solve that are not solved yet, right? From scratch. Tesla was a lot like that, you know, a lot like that. Now, there are obviously boundaries that you don't have a blank check to go out there and, you know, buy 1 million tuggers to pull product from the shelves, you know, but you're given quite a bit of freedom, right? And that really stuck out to me and something that I really enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I really appreciate you guys making it this way, this long video with me and going through the different things that I went through. I would love to hear your feedback. If you have anything you want to share with me in the comments or anything like that, feel free to drop them down here, I guess below. This is my first video, so I don't know how to do this. And yeah. Again, any ideas you have for me to cover or any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them for you. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Say hi to your friends, say hi to your family, and just take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Have a good one.